So you love writing, but the thought of writing a full novel is a bit daunting. Or maybe you're in the middle of a full-length novel and you're hit square in the face with writer's block. Well, in either case, I'm going to introduce you to the magic of writing a short story. Today, I'm going to share with you how to write a short story step by step. So let's get started. First, let's get back to basics and make sure that everybody's on the same page with what is a short story. A short story is shorter in length than a novel or even a novella. Typically, it's between 1,000 and 7,000 words. Also, usually it focuses on a specific situation or event rather than a larger one. So why would you write a short story? Well, number one, it's a great way to sketch out for your bigger stories. What I mean is sometimes when I have an idea for a novel, but don't know exactly what I want to happen, I'll write a short story version of the novel, and that will help me better visualize what the bigger picture is going to look like, what areas I need to focus on more, and drill down a bit more information about, etc. There have been numerous times when after I've written a short story version, I've decided that that was really the better format altogether for the book, and I didn't need to draw it out into a novella or a full novel. Number two, like I alluded to earlier, it's great for attacking writer's block. If you're in the middle of writing a novel or something else, and you find yourself completely unmotivated to write that next chapter or scene, sometimes taking a break and writing a short story about a completely different topic or even a completely different genre can really help relieve the pressure you're feeling and open up your imagination to new ideas. This little mental detour can bring a new sense of excitement and enthusiasm when it comes back to going back to your original main project. Number three, it can be great practice. We all know that the best way to get better at writing is to write more. But not everyone has the time to write novel after novel. But writing short stories, on the other hand, can be done in a matter of an hour or so, depending on the time you have and the number of words you decide to make it. Now remember, even if it's not great, you don't actually have to publish it. Now, before I get a bunch of negative comments, this idea of using short stories for practice does not mean that you have to write a bunch of short stories until you get good enough to write a novel. That's absolute garbage. If you want to write a novel, write a novel. There's no prerequisite that says you have to write a certain number of short stories before you can advance to writing a novel. Another great reason to write short stories is, well, because you love writing them. That's right, there are plenty of writers that write short stories just because they want to. And that's great. You can take a group of short stories that have a similar theme, compile them, and publish them as a compilation. There's definitely a market for those kind of books. Now that we know why we may want to write a short story, let's talk about how to write a short story. More importantly, how to write a good short story. Number one, what is your plot? The plot is the chain of events that occur in your story. Now, in a short story, the plot will most likely be small. Again, like I said earlier, instead of a journey, it'll probably be more of an event. Let's say Alice meets Willy Wonka and they go to Wonderland. The plot for your short story could be the event of Alice and Willy Wonka meeting. Even though you're writing a short story, you really need to know your characters inside and out. What do they want? What's their internal conflict? This adds depth to your character and draws us in as a reader. Just remember, if the event means something to your characters, then they'll mean something to your reader. In a short story, the character arc is going to be a lot more subtle. You don't want your main character making a complete 180 change, or it'll seem rushed and unrealistic. But again, you need to know your characters. All right, now it's time to outline. Now, I know not everyone likes to outline, but if you're writing a short story, I strongly suggest at least creating a basic outline for it. This will allow you to map out what you want to include in your story. There's a good chance that once you have your outline written, you'll notice that there are more things that you want to include than what can be written, or at least written well, within the 1,000 to 7,000 words a short story should be. And that is why outlining your short story is so important. You can then look at that outline and determine what elements of your story are really needed and what can be removed. Okay, next, you need to have a strong opening. Try to start your story off with something memorable. Since you don't have the luxury of a novel to really grip your readers, you want to grab their attention right from the start. And something unusual is a great way to do it. So maybe in this Alice meets Willy Wonka example that I gave, you could start the story with, Rabbit had been dead for 3 days when Alice discovered the body. That will definitely get your reader's attention. So now we've got a strong opening. We also need to make sure that we end it strong. You need to give your story a satisfying ending. It doesn't have to be happily ever after or anything like that, but you want to give your reader a fulfilling sense of closure. And even though it's a short story, you don't want that ending to feel like it's rushed. Next, we need to finish that first draft. The biggest sense of accomplishment comes when you get your first draft done, no matter what kind of book you're writing. Okay, so you've got your first draft written. What do you do next? You take a break. Since your story is short and you haven't invested as much time as if you'd written a full novel, you can sometimes take a break as little as like a day or even half a day. Just something to get your mind off the writing so you can approach it with a fresh set of eyes the next time you look at it. Okay, so we've taken a break. Now we're going to go back and we're going to edit the story. Now that you've taken a break from it, go back to your story with a fresh set of eyes and tweak what needs to be adjusted. Address the missing elements from your outline, assuming that they're still important. Is your opening line strong enough? Is your ending satisfying? Does your reader take something away from the story after they read it? Remember, if it has meaning to them, then it'll be memorable. So after you're done editing it, the next step is to get feedback. Even if you're not going to publish your story, getting feedback will help you become better as a writer and write even more powerful short stories in the future. Now, when I say get feedback, I don't mean from family and friends. I'm talking about critique partners, other authors, professional editors, beta readers, people like that. Now, who you go out to will depend on whether you do plan on publishing that book or not. Some of the questions that I like to ask these people are, how did the first sentence make you feel? What was your favorite part of the story? What was your least favorite part of the story? How did the ending make you feel? And what was your overall takeaway from the story? All of these questions can really help you make your story even stronger. Remember, you only have 1,000 to 7,000 words to get your entire story across. So the words you use, even making minor tweaks, can make a huge difference. Like I said before, the best way to get better at writing is to write more. And short stories are a great way to perfect your storytelling skills. Try challenging yourself to write a new short story every day for a month. Not rewriting the same one, but a brand new short story. At the end of the month, see how far your writing has improved. Now, if you'd be interested in participating in a 30-day short story writing challenge, let me know down in the comments. If there's enough interest, who knows, we might start one up. Now, if you do decide to publish your short stories and put them in a collection, you still might have enough that's actually still considered to be a Kindle short read. Not know what a Kindle short read is? Check out this video right here and I'll tell you exactly what a Kindle short read is. Now, if you've already seen that video, you can check out this video right here that YouTube says is perfect for you. I'll catch you in one of these videos, and remember to write right.